Good evening and welcome to RTE's broadcast of the results for the June 2023 general election. I am Dean O'Connor. I will be your main host for this evening. I am also joined by Epic Noah and our man on the map, though our man at the desk right now is, of course, Tony Blair. We're going to be giving you the rundown of the exit poll, which we'll be releasing in just a few minutes. And we'll be bringing the analysis regarding that exit poll, the full breakdown, as well as the breakdown of the results, because ultimately that's what we're all here for. That's all we really care about at the end of the day, isn't it? But until we get to the exit poll, I'll buzz over to Blair real quick, again, our man on the map, to tell us a bit more about the exit poll and what tonight is about. Over to you, Blair.
Well, good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to our comprehensive coverage of this election night. It's a pleasure to be back here as a man on the map. In a few moments, we will reveal the result of our exit poll, and we will provide comprehensive analysis regarding it. Will Labour be able to muster a political comeback from their low polling, or will Diarmuid O'Donovan become Ireland's next Taoiseach? Over the next 1.5 hours, we'll be bringing you counts in what is the fastest service of results across the island. From Ulster to Munster, how will the change in vote reflect all the parties? Will the election be as tight as the April election? Will the Social Democrats surprise us and make another breakthrough in Dublin and further across the island? It all comes down to how you voted. Throughout the night, I'll be here at the map providing a visual representation of how you voted, and behind me on this screen, we'll be providing graphical analysis in a first of both the exit poll and how you voted. In a few moments, the ballot boxes will be open and yours and my votes will be counted and the future of what we want will be unraveled. And so, in a few moments, we have polled over 60 people across Ireland, asking them when they've come out of the polling station, how did they vote? So this is an indication of what we have been given, of what the type of result that we will have this evening. And we'll do analysis at our desk and, well, it'll be a fun night. So stay tuned to RTA.
Thank you very much, Blair, for that. We can now reveal that the exit poll is ready to be shown. We are going to get to the exit poll very shortly and see what those 60 respondents of ours, again, as they've come out of the polling station, we can see what they voted for and see what the national picture looks like this election. So let us take a quick look at the exit poll and see what we are working with here and see if we will find out or see who we are predicting will be Ireland's next Taoiseach. And here is the exit poll. We have Fianna Fáil on 11 seats here, Fine Gael on 3, Sinn Féin on 6, Labour Party shooting down to 4 seats, as well as the Social Democrats shooting down themselves back to 1 seat. That is the exit poll. That is what the exit poll is telling us. I'm now going to pass straight back over to Blair, who, again, our man on the map, for us to go into a bit more detail about the exit poll, as it did ask many other questions, a lot of different factors, and just a lot to look at in general. But that's not for me to talk about. It's for Blair to talk about. So over to you, Blair.
Right, well, thanks very much, Dean. If we can get our cameras here onto the screen behind me. As we wait for that. Maybe.
The cameramen do appear to be very
Give him a minute. He's locked the camera in place. Give him a moment, will we?
Yes.
yeah, pretty much.
As you can tell, this is going on without a hitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. Oh, and now the exit poll's on the screen.
We're back.
I love the unpredictability of election night. Things are...
We'll talk about the exit poll until our cameraman fixes the literal hitch on the camera setup. Once again, Fianna Fáil on 11 seats there, a massive increase that would otherwise be Fianna Fáil's best result. Oh, there we go. He's got it fixed.
There
Over
we
to you
go.
now,
Thank you
Blair.
There we
very much,
go.
Dean. There we go. It is working now. So, again, just to reinforce that, we have polled over 60 people across Ireland as they've come out of the polling booths, and we've explicitly asked them, which party did you vote for? And doing that, we have been able to come up with a projected seat count of how the night will unfold tonight. Again, we've got Fianna Fáil on 11 seats, Sinn Féin on 6, the Labour Party on 4, Fine Gael on 3, and the Social Democrats on 1. Now, we asked a couple other questions, but I'd like to provide a little bit more context as to this result, which, once I can move my camera onto the static controller, I should be able to pull up a seat change for you here. So, Fianna Fáil would be increasing by a margin of 5 seats, Sinn Féin increasing by 1. As we've already emphasized, the Labour Party will be dropping 4 seats. Fine Gael will be gaining 2, and the Social Democrats will be dropping by 4 seats from their 5 of the previous election. Now, again, I'd like to emphasize, these are not the actual results. This is merely just an exit poll that gives us an indication of what we have to expect this evening. I'd like to also discuss the vote share here on our exit poll. This is, again, we asked 60 people. Our margin of error is about 10%, so it could be plus or minus 1 or 2 seats for each party. We'll see as the night goes along. But as you can see, Fianna Fáil surging ahead with 43% versus Sinn Féin's 25%. The Labour Party down significantly to 15%. Fine Gael actually gaining a couple percentage points there, and the Social Democrats declining. I believe we have a graphic here for the change in vote. Yes, we do. So, again, Fianna Fáil increasing their vote margin by 20%. Sinn Féin increasing their vote total by 6%. The Labour Party has lost 15% of their vote. Fine Gael has gained nearly 8% of their vote. And the Social Democrats, they have absolutely tanked down to 17%. So that's really what's motivating the results that we are seeing this night, a seismic shift and swing towards Fianna Fáil this election. The other thing I'd like to highlight is party membership right now. We also asked people as they left the polling booths what party they are presently a member of. And what is quite interesting is how the Fianna Fáil vote is also coming not just from their own party membership, but also coming from additional sources outside. What is most interesting is the 30% figure of people who are not a member of any party. So that's really an unknown variable that we will develop as the night goes ahead. However, for most of the parties, for instance, the Labour Party's membership exactly on par with the vote share that they're projected to get. Same with the Social Democrats. I'm not sure why that's just changed. Continuing along here, the other question that we asked is the preferred Taoiseach among people. So, identical to the vote share for Fianna Fáil, Diarmuid O'Donovan is the preferred Taoiseach by 43% of voters. Sinn Féin's Potato Cure is the preferred Taoiseach among 18% of voters. Keep in mind that is down from the 25% of people who voted for Sinn Féin. Dylan Hello on 13%, down 2% from Labour's projected vote total, and also down from the 34% of people who voted for Labour last election. And James Akeson is also on 13% for Fine Gael. But most interesting, the Social Democrats' Brian O'Kearney got 0%. Not a single respondent said that he is the preferred Taoiseach. And I believe we might have one more graphic here. Hang on. You'll have to forgive me. I believe there should be one more graphic regarding vote history. No, we don't have a graphic for that, so I'll just generally switch to the vote change again. But we also asked which party did people vote for last election, and this is reflected in our vote change graphic behind us. So this is people who have declared which party they have voted for in the last election. So most notably, we see that 35% of people voted for Sinn Féin last election. That would be technically down. Their vote total would be down from that 35% if this was absolutely accurate. The Social Democrats, only 3% of people declare that they voted for the Social Democrats last election, and yet they got over 20% of the vote, which is an inclination that the Social Democrats are not, the base of the Social Democrats are not as motivated to go out and vote this election. Labour is on 26%, down from 35% that they actually had last election. Fianna Fáil, 13% of people who responded in our exit poll claimed to have voted for them last election in April. So that's very interesting. In Fine Gael, 5% of people declare that they voted for them last election, and 16% are new voters saying that they did not vote for any of the parties. And obviously, because there are no new parties or dissolved parties, these are brand new voters. So it'll be a very interesting night developing. We'll see how that goes. But again, the headline this evening, massive swing towards Fianna Fáil. Whether or not Diarmuid O'Donovan will become the Taoiseach, well, we'll see as the results come out. Back to you, Dean.
Thank you very much for that analysis, Blair. I will go over to a fellow co-host here, Noah. Noah, do you have an initial reaction there to the exit poll results?
Well, to be fair, I'm not actually surprised at all about what happened. What the exit poll is like. It's obvious that the people are sick of Labour, but for any reason, I'm not too sure. It's obvious that sorry, I thought I had a glitch there. It's obvious, that people have some sort of grudge against Labour for what I don't know, and it seems that also Fianna Fáil have surged based off from last election because what were they? I don't know what their seat count was last election. Was it I think it was 7, maybe 8?
Mm-hmm.
7, maybe 8. Don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. But to see that they've surged in the polls to first, if it's true, then that is massive progress for them. In terms of the Social Democrats, though, I am a little bit surprised, but I'm also not surprised at the same time because I think their campaign has been, without sounding too biased, I think their campaign has been a little bit dry in a sense. They've really not made the effort, but I'm also not surprised as well that that they still will keep a seat in the Dáil. To think about where the Social Democrats were about 1 or 2 years ago, it's a shame it's a shame about how much they've declined. How much they've declined in terms of where they were. So I do think that they still have a lot of ground to make up. But it is what it is, I suppose. But I'm in terms of the other parties though, Fine Gael do have a lot to catch up on. I mean, they get a fair amount. 3 seats, Sinn Féin 4, Labour. But it's like Fine Gael, if they do want to put themselves in a position where they can go into government with another party or just by themselves, then they really have to up their game. They have to change how they play in a sense. So yeah, and also I'm just going to take this opportunity. If you do want to get involved, if you do want to get involved in the election night, then do hashtag Ireland Decides RX, same as last time, and I'll make sure to read out some of your tweets here and there. But anyway, just to finish off, because I know I've been talking a while. I think it's a little bit of a surprise how much Labour have gone down. I didn't think they'd go down that much. I thought that they probably would get at least main opposition. And they still can, because if because it might be likely that Fianna Fáil do coalition with Sinn Féin, or they could coalition with another party, because they've already ruled out a coalition with Labour. That is off the table. But in terms of other parties, they could coalition with Sinn Féin to get a supermajority government. So yeah, Labour could still get main opposition. We don't know. But one thing is for sure, though, Labour won't enter government if the thing is what it is, they say. So yeah, that's my take.
Great. Thank you for everything you just said there. Sorry, I completely zoned out during all of that, and there's no not good because of anything you said. Again, slightly ill, but I will say this about the exit poll. What a terrible election to be a Social Democrat, if this is true. I know the Social Democrats are probably not the biggest fan of RTE right now. I don't suppose the members of the National Invincibles behind us are exactly fans of RTE right now either, although they definitely want to use us as a platform right now. But I think it's a very bad night to be a Social Democrat, I think. Hopefully they won't raid our studio like the National Invincibles are behind us, or at least attempting to. Hopefully security will dispose of them eventually. But with Social Democrats, which is very disappointing. Again, they skyrocketed from literally having a single seat back to 5. They had, again, people like Facilio Quinley behind them. They have Michael McGrath. They have, Met India. They have these, former Sinn Féin elites behind them.
Yeah, but Dean,
now it's all gone. It's just, it seems to be all gone now, according to this. And that is just very sad. Labour, again, 8 months in power, and they're going from 8 seats to 4, according to this, which is, I can't say I'm surprised. I think voter fatigue at that point. I feel like a lot of people get sick of seeing the same thing, I suppose, and I guess they maybe weren't convinced by Dylan's messaging of a new era of Labour 5.0 and all. Sinn Féin probably survived the worst of it, I think. There was a lot of attacks on this government, the Labour Sinn Féin coalition. So much flack has been thrown at this government. Sinn Féin, according to this, have come out of this. They've come out of this election or this government stronger. Which is, you've got to applaud Potato Cure if he does pull this off with the actual result. But I think credit where credit's due. I think this is Diarmuid's night. This is ultimately Diarmuid's baptism of fire. He's taken a party that has never, ever, ever held the position of Taoiseach, and he is on the brink of getting it, I think. He is about to make history, I think, tonight. And we'll hopefully see that in the results.
Can I just say real quick something?
Mm-hmm.
When you were mentioning about the Social Democrats and how they had these people behind them, you also can't forget that those people like Facilio Quinley, Michael McGrath, they have been very controversial because of some.
I will have to cut you off there, I'm afraid, and this is the first ever time I've had to say that this election cycle. So sorry, Noah, but we do have here the first count coming in several constituencies, so I believe it will fall to me to quickly go through the ones we have. In West Ulster, we can confirm that Sinn Féin have got themselves a seat. West Ulster, just to repeat. In Connacht, we have Fine Gael picking up a seat. In Dublin North, the Social Democrats have got a seat, possibly their only one, according to the exit poll. And in Dublin South, Fianna Fáil. In Munster, Fianna Fáil as well.
Decided to Callum, I'm sorry.
Here.
Just
He's made
just to go over that again, though, just to refresh everyone's minds. Again, West Ulster has a Sinn Féin TD there now. Again, West Ulster, Sinn Féin have picked up their seat. East Ulster, there is no result yet on the first count. In Connacht, there is a Fine Gael pick-up there. Again, Fine Gael. The Midlands, North Leinster and South Leinster, the first count, no result yet. We'll come back to them later. Dublin North, Social Democrats have picked up a win. In Dublin South, Fianna Fáil have picked up a win. Shannon, absolutely no result yet. Once again, we'll come back to them later. And in Munster, Fianna Fáil have got themselves another seat. That's Sinn Féin on 1, Fine Gael on 1, the Social Democrats on 1, then Fianna Fáil on 2. That is the results so far. Blair, we'll go over to you. Let's see what this map looks like.
Yes, hello, Dean. Albeit it's a little bit dimly lit. I've updated the map with what we've got so far.
It's
Like
because of
I've
the
said,
electricity bills.
like you've said, West Ulster has gone to Sinn Féin. We've marked that down as such. Dublin South and Munster have both gone to Fianna Fáil. I believe that might be a pickup in Munster. I should probably check my record really quickly, but I believe, yes. That would be 1 seat in Munster for Fianna Fáil. That would be matching what they got in Munster last election. And then in Dublin North, the Social Democrats have picked up their first seat of the night. So it should be noted. Pardon me, I'm just reading something. It should be noted, by technicality, this would be the first and last seat that the Social Democrats would gain this night if the exit poll was correct. Of course, we have no way of knowing if it is, so we need to wait for more seats to come in. But that is the map so far. We don't have enough data to say anything conclusive yet, but we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much, Blair, for that. We have been told by one of our election analysts over at Donnybrook, obviously very far away from here where we are, who have said that all the constituencies are distributed according to the last all, and they have written to us that they have described Labour as having, quote-unquote, combusted according to the results that have just come in. So, Blair, I believe the spreadsheet should now be in your hands for the current or the former makeup of the Oireachtas before this election. So do you want to quickly match up together the data there and see if Labour has indeed completely combusted? If you're
yes.
ready to.
Yeah, we'll do it on the fly here. I just want to take a look at a little bit of Dublin North. In Dublin North, we are to expect a Labour win there if it's being distributed on the previous dole. We should expect another Labour seat in Dublin North, and another seat in Dublin South for Labour. So, personally, I just believe we don't have enough data. But for Fianna Fáil, it's not a surprise that Fianna Fáil has picked up 1 seat in Munster. But otherwise, in Connacht, that's the seat of the leader of Fine Gael, James Aikson. Not a surprise that he won that either. So, simply put, we don't have enough data.
Absolutely fair enough. We will leave you to continue analysing the results there. Feel free to get a rifle and shoot the people who are trying to enter the studio. They should know that trespassing is illegal.
Death to them all. No, I'm joking.
You can't say that.
Yeah, I'm joking when I say that, by the way, for legal reasons. I actually do want to ask you a question real quick, Dean, about Labour real quick. Their manifesto wasn't, well, they didn't even have a manifesto this election. Do you think that it's damaged significantly their chances of winning?
It seems to be a running theme now that for the last few elections, a lot of parties, or at least some parties, each election, you'll get a leader that comes in and thinks, you know what, I'm going to put in the least amount of effort possible. and they expect to get anywhere with that. And I think it's just pathetic, really. And I feel like no party represents this better than the Social Democrats. And this isn't some bout of, partiality. This is, just me being quite serious here. Look at the last Social Democrat manifesto. Look at the state it was in. Look at the state the party's in now. And look at what the exit poll is showing. The results will probably be quite similar. Look at their performance this election. Obviously, they weren't at the debate for technical reasons. That's fair, fair on Brian. Technical issues happen to us all. But there was no one else to represent them. At least Labour sent a representative. They sent Kamala, and she stood her grounds. I know, obviously, with the RT poll, it was found that not many people believe she won. A lot of people believe Diarmuid won that debate, but at least she tried. She stood up for a party. What are the Social Democrats? They haven't done that. I feel like no party represents laziness more than the Social Democrats do in elections. Labour are starting to slip into that, I fear. Fianna Fáil, complete opposite. You've got someone like Diarmuid who's run multiple elections now. He's the longest serving leader of the opposition, which I always call the world's most successful loser role. But I feel like that title's meant to give it a bit of justice as well. He tries and tries and tries. Tonight might be that payoff. We don't know. So you've got a party that tries really hard, Fianna Fáil, and then you've just got parties that are really starting to slip into this dungeon or this cave or spiral of just decline and laziness, like the Social Democrats and Labour is starting to now. It's just scary to watch, really. I don't like seeing that in politics. I'm sure you can agree with me, Noah.
Yeah, I do agree. Do you mind if I read some tweets?
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we got at Debs RBX who says, let me grab his tweet real quick. Dean R. Heathcote at Dean R. Heathcote is sick. Please donate a pint for his healing. We also got
Thank you.
We got Carl Emma Manheim saying, I wish to say that these elections in Ireland are very obvious. After Labour's decline, there is no more political force that can stop Fianna Fáil.
I'm sorry, Noah. I'm having to do this to you again. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
The second lot of counts have come in across Ireland. The Electoral Commission has indeed verified the results of the second count. Of course, other counts are going to come up as tonight progresses. On the second count, West Ulster and East Ulster, there is no result there yet on the second count. The same goes for Connacht and the Midlands. In those 4 areas or 4 constituencies, there's nothing right now. But in North Leinster, the Social Democrats have picked up their second seat of the night. I'm shocked already, and it's about to get even more shocking as I read these out. South Leinster and Dublin North, no result yet. It will progress to the third count to get any results there. Dublin South has gone to the Labour Party, and Shannon has gone to the Social Democrats. And Munster, again, not again, but there's no result there on the second count. Once again, it'll progress to the third. So just to recap the results there, North Leinster has gone to the Social Democrats. So has Shannon gone to the Social Democrats, and Dublin South has gone to the Labour Party. So the Social Democrats have gone up now to 3 seats so far. And the Labour Party have gained themselves their first seat of the night. This is probably going to be the part where I regret everything I just said about the Social Democrats, but trust me, I stand by it. But in order to take away the partiality of myself, we're going to go straight over to our man on the map, Blair, for some actual impartial analysis. Over to you, Blair.
Right, excellent. Thanks very much, Dean. So we've plotted down those additional 3 seats onto the map. So, like I said, I believe we are at 8 seats declared now. What's very interesting is that the Social Democrats are already on 3 seats. Now, if you'd just like to follow me over here, onto our exit poll analysis screen, we said that the Social Democrats were going to lose 17% of their vote share. Is this the case? Well, let's be honest, probably not. So we are starting to find some discrepancies in our exit poll right here. I'd just like to refresh everybody on what we expected the projected seat count to be. Well, we said that the Social Democrats were going to be on 1. It looks like they might be on 3, perhaps even more later on as the night goes along. So now the question that we're forced here to ask is, are the Social Democrats, is this going to be taken at the expense of Fine Gael or Labour or Sinn Féin, or is it actually going to be taken, these gains for the Social Democrats, is it actually going to be taken from Fianna Fáil? Or is some of Fianna Fáil's 11 seats that we projected going to be redistributed onto the Social Democrats? Well, we'll see as the night goes ahead. In the respect of the Labour vote crumbling, if we would like to go back to the map here, in the respect of the Labour vote crumbling, they've held on to Dublin South, which is quite important. That was a seat that they held last election. I believe they held that the election prior as well. So Dublin South is quite a paramount hold for the Labour Party. Party. Whether or not their vote has collapsed, we still don't have enough data to see that. Perhaps we won't know until the third or fourth count, but really, the story that is starting to shape up, at least within these first 8 declarations, likely is that the exit poll got it wrong regarding the Social Democrats.
Thank you so much, Blair. I would just like to, as we go back over to the front desk, I would just like to quickly apologise to every Social Democrat that I offended tonight. My comments were made in vain. I clearly did not intend for those comments to go public. I was 14 when I said that. It was a different time. I am shaking. Anyway, that aside, very
I'm sorry, but
surprising.
that aged well, like significantly.
I know, that is the biggest own goal ever. All right, anyway, the Social Democrats on 3 seats there, and Labour getting their first seat of the night. I would just like to quickly say, and I want to point this out, again, from as impartial of a standpoint as I can, as the Director General of the state broadcaster. The Labour Party and the Social Democrats were the 2 parties that did not release a manifesto in this election. Now, a manifesto is essentially your programme for government. It is what you give to the public to say, this is what we want to do, this is why we're doing it, this is why you should vote for us. 2 parties, this out of 5, did not publish that document. Kamala, during the election debate, bluntly admitted that Labour would not be publishing it. She was transparent on that. She said very bluntly they would not be publishing. And I admire the bravery of saying that during an election debate when Labour is under a lot of flack as is. Honestly, kudos to her. But as the results stand, 4 seats in the Dáil here are held by parties that didn't put out a programme for government, a manifesto, if you will.
Wait, which other party was it that didn't release it?
The Social Democrats, they didn't publish a manifesto.
Okay.
Unless someone wants to send me the manifesto they apparently published, I don't think they did. I stand to be corrected. But that's just what's shocking to me personally. I think it's very important that voters know what they're voting for. And I remember being pinged in general chat about the whole, they made a bunch of personalised graphics for every single voter or something. And that's not a strategy. That's conmanship. That you're not telling your voters what you're offering them. You're not telling them what you're going to do for the community. You're just making a graphic that has their name on it and them and your party saying, we want you to vote for the Social Democrats. It's like a Herbert Kitchener poster of the we want you to join the British Army. That's what it reminds me of. Just a little propaganda poster to get votes. That's what annoys me personally. I'll stop ranting after this, but that's what annoys me personally. I think parties have to campaign on policies. You can get creative with that, but you have to have policies and you have to publish those. You have to make everyone aware of them.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah, I do agree, because the thing is, right, it's like you said, it's a program for government. It's like an unofficial program for government. If you were elected, you would do this, this, this. But can I just say one particular party's promise that really blindsided me?
Hey, Noah. I'm going to have to stop you right there.
No.
Hey, Noah, I'm going to let you finish real quick.
No, we're releasing in 5.
Oh, for God's sake. All right, I'll let you continue, actually. I'm kidding. I did that as a joke.
God's sake, Dean. I swear to God, I'll get you back one day. Anyway,
you will.
Let me explain what I was saying. So, one particular promise that really stood out to me, I don't know if it's been removed now or something, but Sinn Féin's promise to abolish the Department of Defence, that really stuck out for me. The fact that they would be openly honest about the fact that they want to get rid of a certain government department that basically oversees the Irish Defence Forces is basically, I mean, I applaud them for being openly honest about it, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I do think it is interesting though that they want to get rid of the Department of Defence, because let's just predict something for a second. Or project something, let's say. if they were to get rid of the Department of Defense, who would oversee the military? Who would oversee the Irish Defence Forces as a whole?
I have a counter argument for you. A quick counter argument.
Go on.
Isn't the Department of Defense already autonomous as is, effectively? They already technically run themselves, don't they, without a minister having to intervene? So couldn't you argue that they're already quite autonomous and Sinn Féin just want to make that, well, very bluntly obvious by getting rid of the department attached to the IDF?
Yeah, you're good. You're right when you say that, but the thing is, right? I think there's been multiple statements saying, that the military isn't autonomous, but or whatever they said. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I just remember reading something about it.
Okay, no, I'm gonna let you finish real quick, but we do have the actual results come in. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You see, the way it works at RTE is we have a fax machine that generates the results, and we can hear the noise of the fax machine whirring as the results get printed. So we know the results about 10 hours in advance. But anyway,
no, it's CFAX. Remember?
Oh yeah, CFAX. Forgot about that. RTE CFAX. Anyway, but we do have the third count coming in for several areas real quick. In West Ulster, no result yet, or at least not another result at least. So we'll come back to them later. East Ulster, Fianna Fáil have picked up a seat there in East Ulster, just to repeat. In Connacht, there is another Fine Gael gain there. In the Midlands, there is no result yet. Once again, we'll be back later. North Leinster, there is a Fianna Fáil pickup there. Nothing in the south yet, however. Once again, that'll move to the fourth count. In Dublin North, Sinn Féin have picked up a seat. In Dublin South, the Social Democrats have picked up a seat. Oh, I'm really starting to swallow my words now, aren't I? And in Shannon and Munster, there is not yet a result. That'll move, of course, to the fourth count. That's 2 more seats for Fianna Fáil, 1 more seat for Fine Gael there, 1 for Sinn Féin there, on top of what they already have, as well as 1 for the Social Democrats on top of what they have there as well. We have been corrected, actually, because, again, our CFAX services are so slow. West Ulster is for Fianna Fáil, East Ulster is for nobody, just to quickly clarify. It does not change the number, though. It doesn't change the number, just to clarify.
Whoever runs the fax machine over there, get a move on. God damn it.
We really need to upgrade our services, don't we? But anyway, Speaking of upgrading our services, let's go over to our automated man on the map, Tony Blair. Take it away.
Yes, hello Dean. Sorry, my Roblox just crashed. I'm just updating the map now that we have realized that the Electoral Commission and our fax machine has mixed east and west. So let me just casually change the color of this button. Please work for once. Yes? Maybe? Yes? And now change to you, and then okay, very good. So now we've plotted on the map here the results that we have just gotten from our fax machine. So I'd just like to reiterate quickly. Fianna Fáil is on 4 seats, the Social Democrats are on 4, Sinn Féin is on 2, Fine Gael is on 2, and Labour is on 1%. Now, I'd just like to very quickly go about speaking about the percentage of votes which each party has received so far. So I've been doing a little bit of quick math. We are saying that there's 25 seats in the Dáil, and so approximately each seat should constitute 4% of the vote. So, if we're going about that, we say right now, we project that Fianna Fáil would have 16% of the vote, as would the Social Democrats. Social Democrats would have 16% of the vote. Now, that's important, and I'll speak to it in a second. Now, elsewhere, both Sinn Féin and also Fine Gael, they have 8% of the vote each respectively, and Labour has 1 seat right now. So right now it is starting to come to fruition. We are starting to see, I don't want to say the collapse, but the significant decline of the Labour vote. I'd just like to go back here to our vote change. I want to specifically speak about the vote share. If we come back to the screen here now, to our camera people. Sorry. Great, so now we're back here on our vote share map. That's what we've gotten from the exit poll. Now, because of constraints from Roblox, we can't actively update this in real time. But I just want to give you an example of what we're looking at right now. So, Phenophile, we are seeing it at 16%. Now, I should know, this is not 16% of the whole, per se. This is just of what we have declared. So, there is still a good swack, I want to say, in about is 50-60% of seats that haven't been declared yet. So that's why these percentages are so low. But very interestingly, the Social Democrats, we put them on our exit poll all the way down here at 3%. Right now, they are in second place with 16% of the vote and 4 seats. Well, actually, I should say they are tied for first with Phenophile. Now, I don't know who keeps changing this. In the respective Labour, they are down to 4% right now. Right now, Labour is down to 4% on their total vote share. So we are seeing their projected vote go from 15%, a collapse since the 34% they got during the last election, and they have brought it all the way down to effectively our projection for the Social Democrats right now. Whether or not Labour will, as more seats come in, Labour will do better. We'll see. But if we take a look here, we saw that last election, Labour won a seat in Dublin North. Whether or not they will win that seat this time, there's only one seat in Dublin North left to be declared. That will be up for determination. So it will be a very interesting night, because we'll see the fate of the Labour and we'll see the fate of the Social Democrats. Right now, none of our projections say that the Social Democrats have a chance of forming government. That's not something that we're even close to entertaining right now. However, whether or not the Social Democrats can even become the official opposition or a major coalition partner a minor coalition partner, we'll see that develop as the night goes ahead. Fine Gael, they're just one short right now of their projection of 3 seats that we made. Fianna Fáil, I believe, is 7 seats short of 11, and Labour, like I said, we predicted them to hold 4 seats. Whether or not they're going to be able to do that tonight with the Social Democrats outperforming our exit poll, we'll see. Sinn Féin, same thing. They are about 4 seats down from what we expected them to have by the end of the night. Whether or not it will be 6, whether they will stay at 5, or whether or not they will lose seats. That's what will be determined. But clearly, our exit poll very much, if you will, underestimated the impact of the Social Democrats. The additional question that we ask here is, how motivated were Social Democrats to vote? Whether or not they completed the exit poll, that was a different question. We interpreted that as an expectation that they were very unmotivated to vote. But now it's time for us to entertain, what if their entire strategy was just get people to the polls and not care about the exit poll? So, we'll see as we go ahead.
Thank you very much for that, Blair. I will address the question you raised there about whether or not the Social Democrats pushed the polls more than the exit poll, and I can certainly say they did. I did have a conversation with Brian, and he was pushing the getting people to the polls, which is, the strategy you should be going with, rather than focusing solely on the exit poll. The exit poll is obviously there to help us to run, election night like we are tonight. But again, I mentioned this earlier, and I think the Social Democrat key to success here is in a man called Michael McGrath, who, when he ran Sinn Féin, he had this strategy, and I've mentioned it already tonight, of make a very poor-looking graphic that says, we want you, insert voter's name here, to vote, insert party's name here. It is a very bad graphic, but it's essentially psychological campaign warfare on voters who haven't decided who they vote for yet. And they see this nice little personalized graphic for themselves and go, you know what, this person clearly cares, I'm going to vote for them. And clearly it's worked to some extent, because for a party that wasn't there at the debate for obviously reasons where Brian had technical issues, but they didn't send a representative to the debate, they didn't publish a manifesto, their campaign was underwhelming in comparison to, say, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and the other parties, Sinn Féin even. Despite all that, they're on par with Fianna Fáil right now. and Fianna Fáil have been the favourites of this election for pretty much the entire week. We've all known that. So it's just very insane to me. Noah, do you agree with me? Isn't that just insane? Noah? Oh, that's goddamn, his microphone's broken. It's okay. We'll come back to him later, perhaps. That's just insane to me. That is. Thank you very much for that, cameraman who hitched his camera earlier. Right, anyway. Blair, do you agree with me that that's insane? Do you agree?
Hang on, Dean, we've just got something that's come in.
Oh, we do, yes. I should probably read that, shouldn't I?
Yes, the Dublin South counts are in question right now. The recounts are taking place. Now, let me just mosey on down to the map here. So, right now, in Dublin South, we have three out of 3 seats declared. Fianna Fáil, Labour, Social Democrat. We don't know which seat is being recounted out of that, but we are going to determine soon. Who knows? Labour could lose their only seat of the night. Social Democrats could lose their one of their 4 seats, or Fianna Fáil could lose a seat. Who knows?
I mean, that is quite. That's quite a shock right there. Or that there's going to be a recount. I mean, I'd say this early as well. I mean, we're only, what? How many seats in are we now? 12, 13? We're not that many seats in yet. We're already getting a recount because Dublin South's been called into question. That's already quite shocking. Which seat is it again? Is it the one that Labour won or the Social Democrat one?
We don't know. All we know is a recount in Dublin South.
All right. Well, that is going to definitely complicate things for our team here at the government buildings. I'm sure they're going to be requesting overtime pay for the amount of adjustments that will need to be made to our visuals in just a moment. But that is definitely painting a very grim picture for the 3 parties that have a stake in Dublin South there alone. Just to go on a bit of a monologue about the state of this election and about the election in general. I want to focus more on the election debate that happened. Obviously, that was a debate that I hosted. It was a 2-hour-long debate. Absolutely mental. In fact, actually, hold on a minute. We have just been given... oh, wait, no, we have not been given anything. The CFAX machine is just tricking us here.
Yes, we have been given something.
Oh, is it the... Oh, it is the new... it is the new result, I guess, following the Dublin South count, I believe. Fianna Fáil on... I guess this actually takes away the Dublin South one, actually. So, Fianna Fáil on 3, the Social Democrats on 3, Sinn Féin on 2, Fine Gael on 2, Labour on 0. That is taking away, I believe, the Dublin South, because Dublin South has been called into question.
We've got an issue on the fax machine, though.
What is the issue?
Because there is a discrepancy, because Labour's 1 seat in Dublin South has been taken away, but arbitrarily, we've been told that a seat has been taken away from Fianna Fáil, and a seat has been taken away from the Social Democrats. So I don't believe that is correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Electoral Commission of Ireland. We will allow for our machines to hopefully correct that. Let this quickly be a note that artificial intelligence is nowhere near close to taking our jobs just yet. Especially mine. I don't think an AI can do my job, right? We do have the 4th count coming in here. We are going to hopefully correct the current seat count, or at least get hit the machine to fix itself. But we shall continue here with the 4th count results in several areas. In East Ulster, Sinn Féin have picked up a seat. In the Midlands and North Leinster, there is no result yet. That will move to the 5th count. In South Leinster, Fianna Fáil have picked up a seat. Dublin North, the Social Democrats have a seat. In Dublin South, Fianna Fáil have a seat. In Shannon, the Social Democrats have a seat. Are you sick of the rhyming yet? It's not even rhyming, it's just repetition. But the repetition ends there. because Munster, there's no result yet. That'll move to the 5th count. We have been given the new recap of the results here. Of Fianna Fáil on 5 seats. Once again, Fianna Fáil on 5. The Social Democrats on 5 as well, on par with Fianna Fáil. Sinn Féin on 3 seats there. Fine Gael on 2 seats, and Labour in dead last with 0 seats. And we are 15 seats in so far. Blair, if you're ready at any point to somehow adjust the map to fit all this.
Yeah, I've done that already.
Lovely. Go over to you.
Great. So, very interesting. They announced about 3 minutes ago that there was a recount in Dublin South. And we've gotten the result of that recount, obviously. The one Labour seat that they've won this evening in Dublin South, that has been reallocated to Fianna Fáil. So I just want to take a look here very quickly. They have lost their seat in Dublin South, Labour, so that is a major loss of the night, very interestingly. No, never mind, we're going to continue on. What is very interesting is how the Social Democrats are on 5 seats. So the exit poll has really dramatically underestimated the impact of the Social Democrats so far. I'd just like to quickly come back here to our vote share panel. Again, we said that the Social Democrats would be on 3%. Right now they're on 20%. So their strategy of getting people out to vote with these personalized graphics, it's very clearly worked here. And I think we're starting to see the impact of that. That's being taken at the expense of Sinn Féin, and it's also really being taken at the expense of Labour. Because remember, by this point, we should have already declared that Labour would have maybe 2 or 3 seats. Well, at one point, we were in the office and we were wondering whether or not the Social Democrats would win any seats based on the results of this exit poll. And clearly, they have outperformed our exit poll almost, actually exactly, on par with Fianna Fáil. So whether or not this will continue, we'll see. I don't know if they want us... Yeah, Dean, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, we have had, I believe, another count come in, at least... Yeah, I can see in the corner of my eye at the nicely tucked away CFAX machine. We do have the 5th count coming in several areas. It's quite funny you mentioned that Labour haven't got a seat yet. It seems that in East Ulster, they have just picked up their first seat of the night. Their first, hopefully, not to be recounted seat. In the Midlands, Fianna Fáil have picked up a seat. In North Leinster, South Leinster, Dublin North and Dublin South, absolutely no result yet. We'll come back to them later, of course. And Munster, it's another Fianna Fáil seat. So we're seeing 1 seat for Labour there. Their first of the night, hopefully not to be recounted. And we have 2 more seats there for Fianna Fáil, bringing their total to, I believe, 7 now. Looking pretty good for Fianna Fáil voters so far, although before we go over to you, Blair, I will just quickly say, what a night for Social Democrats. I mean, for a very, and I am sorry to say this, lackluster campaign, they have now met what they had before this election, 5 seats in the door. Now it's a matter of, are they going to exceed that? Are we going to see another Social Democrat gain here? And is this really at the expense of the Labour Party? Has the Labour Party not been defeated by Fianna Fáil, but by the Social Democrats of all parties? Which, I mean, if any party is going to be able to take down, I guess, the legacy of Tom Whitaker and Killian Whitaker and Lewis Dougherty and now Dylan Hello, if any party is going to take that legacy down and take that party down a notch, then is it fitting that it's maybe the party of the last great period of political dominance, the Social Democrat purple era? Maybe, maybe not, but that's not for me to decide. That's for the voters at home. Enough of me, though. Blair, over to you. Let's go see the map.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dean. So, like you've said, we've got our first result here For the Labour Party, well, I guess second, barring the recount. Now, what's very interesting to me personally is that this seat is in East Ulster. Now, the important part about it being in East Ulster, Labour had no seats in East Ulster. So it might be based on regional differences, or it might be based on the Electoral Commission of Ireland being funny. I don't know. But what's very interesting is that Labour didn't have a seat in East Ulster last election in April. So now, all of a sudden, they've allocated a seat to Labour from East Ulster. So that'll be quite interesting. And now we're also starting to see how Fianna Fáil is pulling ahead of the Social Democrats. We're starting to see how the Social Democrats have met their vote count last election. Whether or not it'll increase, that's the big question of the night at this point. But now we're starting to see that exit poll starting to materialize, at least in the context of Fianna Fáil and maybe Fine Gael. My Roblox just crashed just now, but oh well. Generally speaking, very interesting night that is playing out right now, beyond any expectations that anybody had. But that's in the map for you.
Thank you very much for that, Blair. Very interesting results just overall here. And panning over to the front desk here, it's very interesting to see not just the Social Democrats reach their thresholds, but I believe this is now officially the best result in Fianna Fáil history. They are now on, I believe, 7 seats, because they were on par with the Social Democrats earlier. They just gained 2, so, 5, 6, 7, do the math. Or the maths, I'm not American. But yeah, they are now on 7 seats, which is quite a success for Fianna Fáil. We do not know, obviously, what kind of coalitions are going to form here. And there's certainly a question we're going to ask later into the night, whether or not we're going to be seeing Fianna Fáil go with Fine Gael. That's definitely been one that's been touted quite a bit by voters. I saw one of Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin, but I don't see that happening. I think Fianna Fáil wouldn't work with, I guess, who they saw as sort of Labour's sidekick. Fianna Fáil definitely treated Sinn Féin as sort of an extension of Labour for a while. The Social Democrats, I can probably see Fianna Fáil and the Social Democrats working together. I'm certain that would be quite an interesting power balance. But I think one thing is for certain, though, as the results look, there is going to be absolutely no place for the Labour Party at any negotiations tonight. I think it is completely over for the Labour Party. It is looking absolutely terrible. It's looking very bad. I'll say that much. But regardless of all of that, the point is the results as they stand are as follows. Again, the Social Democrats on 5 seats, meeting their I apologise, previous seat count in the last all. Fine Gael are on, I believe, 2 seats here. As Fine Gael, that is. Fianna Fáil on 7, Labour Party on 1, and Sinn Féin, I believe, on 3. We do have the next count coming in here, and I will definitely be taking my time with this one. And hopefully our on-screen visuals will match these results. Hopefully our CFAX machine will also print a recap, just in case. But we do have here, on the 6th count, in East Ulster, the Social Democrats have gained a seat. In North Leinster, Fianna Fáil. In South Leinster, Fianna Fáil. Dublin South, Fianna Fáil. And in Munster, Sinn Féin. That is the new seat count as it stands. The Social Democrats gaining, as you see there, a 6th seat. They have exceeded what they had at the last election. To my personal complete dismay, of course, the Social Democrats have exceeded what they had last election. Fianna Fáil there, though, skyrocketing up to 10 seats, 3 away from a majority, but I don't think they're going to be getting it. It's not looking very likely. At least not this late into the night. I'm pretty sure actually there's only 2 seats left to declare. Because looking at the results here again, 10 seats for Fianna Fáil, 6 for the Social Democrats. That's 16. Sinn Féin's 4 and Fine Gael's 2. That's 20. And there is only so many left to go here. So that's 22, 23. So there's about 2 seats left to declare here, I believe. And they have actually just come in here. We have the final results here, which again Blair will be put. I apologise. The results will be put on the screen in just a moment. But on the 7th count, the final count of the night, South Leinster has gone to the Labour Party, and the final seat of the night in Dublin South has gone to Fine Gael. And I believe that brings this election to a wrap. And just to recap very quickly, Fianna Fáil on 10 seats. Right behind them, Social Democrats on 6. Both parties up from their last election. Fine Gael on 3 seats themselves. Sinn Féin on 4, just ahead of Fine Gael, and a moderate result for the party, I guess one could say. But the biggest loser of tonight, the Labour Party, shooting down to 2 seats. 2 seats is what is left of the Labour Party that ruled Labour for 8 months straight, through coalitions, through the governments of Tom Whitaker, Killian Whitaker, and Lewis Doggett. That is what is left of the Labour Party now. That is the final result we are bringing you here at RTE. That is, as it stands, the results. I hope we're not going to be sprung with any recounts. I really hope we're not going to be sprung with any recounts. But we're going to now go to our former man on the map and now man in the studio, Tony Blair, to just give us the rundown of everything we've just seen tonight.
Yes,
over to you, Blair.
Thanks very much, Dean. So behind me you can see the vote change. It is a little bit tragic, for lack of a better term, but we can kind of see what is happening here. The gain that Sinn Féin was expected to make, absolutely not. They actually lost a seat. But most interestingly, the Social Democrats almost... Bear with me here. If you took the Social Democrats' loss and you applied it to the Labour Party, then that would make sense. The Fine Gael gain makes sense. The Fianna Fáil gain makes sense. We were, at least in respect of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, pretty bang on with our exit poll. In the respect of the Social Democrats, let's say the Labour had the same loss as the Social Democrats, and let's say that the Social Democrats actually had the same gain as Sinn Féin, that is effectively what has happened to our result. Now, we have received the official vote count from the Electoral Commission, but we'll go about that in a second. I just want to very quickly go about what we said was our exit polls vote share and what is our actual vote share of the night. I'd like to begin with Fianna Fáil. We said they would be on 43%, they ended up on 40%. Sinn Féin on 25% did not materialize. They ended up on 16%. The Labour Party, we said they would be on 15%. Actually, no, they were down to 8%, which, if I do some maths live on television, that would be a drop of about 24%. The absolute destruction of the Labour Party's vote. I just want to take a look at Fine Gael as well. We said they would be on 12%. They were on exactly 12%. And in the respect of the Social Democrats, we said they would be on 3%. In reality, they ended up on, if I am not mistaken, 24%. So, a very interesting night. some good parts of our exit poll, some very bad parts. I just want to take you back here to the map. It's been kind of buggered with the amount of recounts and reassessments that we've had in many of the polls, but you can see the 2 Labour seats, the final 2 seats for Labour that have been reflected on there. We have seen, if I am not mistaken, in East Ulster and also South Leinster, those 2 Labour seats, massive losses for the Labour Party. I just want to go through generally. In the Midlands, Lewis Daugherty loses his seat. In North Leinster, Garbage Pail loses his seat. In Dublin South, Dylan R. Trust loses his seat. In Dublin North as well, Street Without Joy loses his seat. In West Ulster, Kamla Besesser loses her seat. In South Leinster, Dylan Hello 20 loses his seat. In West Ulster again, 112 Tass loses his seat, and also in Munster, Grand Duchess Maria loses her seat. So a massive night of losses for the Labour Party. But Fianna Fáil should be very happy tonight with their gains. I mean, they are more than likely going to form the next government, holding all of the seats that they got from dissolution and moving them onwards into this June election, plus making substantial gains, which puts them in a prime position to form a coalition government. The Social Democrats should also be very pleased with the evening that they had, despite our exit poll prediction. Our prediction did not materialize. So they've actually put up, if I am not mistaken, a gain of about 4%, which is quite impressive considering what we predicted them and their lack of a manifesto. And Fine Gael, they've also had a relatively decent night, putting up 3 more seats. James Akeson should be relatively happy with that. Now, I just want to go in on the final election result public release that we've just gone through, and I'm going to remove this exit poll graphic for the sake of clarity. A summary has been created of the results, so I'd just like to go through the official results here. Fianna Fáil, on 41.5%, they've gotten 78 votes, which returns 10 seats. Fine Gael got 12.7%, 24 votes, which returned 3 seats. The Labour Party, 14 votes only. The Labour Party achieved 7.4% of the popular vote, which only returned 2 seats for them, as we've discussed already. Potato Cure Sinn Féin, 28 votes, 15% just in that area. And also the Social Democrats, 44 votes. Their machine has worked quite well for them, and 23.4%, up 20% from our exit poll prediction. I'd also just like to discuss turnout really quickly. 206 votes, 188 were valid and 18 were invalid, and the seat distribution has been sorted online as well. So, my dear friends, that's a night that we've had. Been interesting.
Thank you very much, Blair, for that analysis. Very shortly, we are going to bring on a guest, someone who has been not just leader of the Labour Party, but leader of, I believe, Fine Gael at some point, as well as having sort of bounced around in parties, and is now having endorsed Fianna Fáil this election. So we're now going to have a brief call-in with former Taoiseach Cillian Whitaker for his reaction to, well, this entire election as a veteran of several and as someone who basically, led the Labour Party before this in the last election. So, Cillian, can you hear us?
I can.
Thank you for joining us, Cillian. So, can we just get your pure reaction to the results tonight? Just, can you sum it up?
Okay, that's a really difficult question. I was asked this before when I won an election. It's a lot more difficult to see my party lose an election and sum it up in one sentence or one comment. It would probably be, I told you so, I guess. I told you so. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Fair enough. Where do you think it went wrong, Cillian, for the Labour Party?
Oh, God. Well, they were posed with a choice, Kamla and Dylan. And I suppose they probably thought, I presume Dylan had a chokehold over the party membership. And they probably thought he'd be more passionate, more try-hard, more, That did not materialize this evening. There was no manifesto. There was obviously a complete lack of organization. They're completely divided. Um, I'm not sure what that's a result of, because during my tenure, we were very united. We all had common goals. We all wanted to go into the next general election winning. So to see them so divided and directionless and rudderless, it's far, far, far from the Labour Party I created.
Absolutely understandable there. Just an additional question on top of that. Obviously, you've since left the Labour Party. Obviously, you were ousted by senior members of your cabinet, and
Yeah.
since then, you've gone on to, I believe, endorse Diarmuid O'Donovan and Fianna Fáil.
Yeah.
Have you worked closely with him this election? Did you give him any advice, any tips?
So obviously, I never thought I'd be endorsing Diarmuid for Taoiseach, but as the election went on, it's pretty clear he's the most passionate leader, most dedicated. And that's not to try and throw shade at the other leaders. It's true. He's been here the longest. I feel like he's wanted this the most, and I think we should just give him the opportunity. Considering I think he's put forward good policies, I wouldn't have endorsed him otherwise. In terms of helping him on the campaign trail, I'm not good with graphics or general direction for a campaign, but in terms of talking points and sound bites and the VC debate especially, I was with him. Yeah, I was working with him on that kind of thing. But that's genuinely all I could probably contribute. I'm not that big of a campaigner.
Again, it is 8 months since about today that the Labour Party under Thomas Whitaker came into power and introduced what they say was a revolution to Ireland. 8 months of Labour-led governments with coalitions, of course, with Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin along the way.
Yeah.
Do you think Labour changed Ireland for the better, or do you think this election proves that voters just had enough of Labour? What is your view on that?
You can have both. You can have both. This past month or so, I'm not going to include my month because I still stand by that, but this past month or so of Labour governing, it's clearly tired them out. When you change the leadership that they vote for, you change the policy that they vote for, it shows a lack of trust, and that's just not what we had in our party. When Tom was first elected, he had revolutionary policy. When he was re-elected, he had revolutionary policy. When I was first elected and when I was re-elected, I too had revolutionary policy. And we had such original ideas. We were innovative at the very least, if not passionate, And I just think that's missing from this Labour Party. And I say this to your viewers especially, I've never been more proud of anything I've done in Ireland. I truly think Labour has been the best thing to happen to this, political climate. We've won 4 elections for a reason, I suppose.
Do you have any questions, Blair?
Yes, I've got one really quick question for you, Killian. Obviously, you are quite close with your predecessor, Tom Whitaker. My question is has there been any reaction from him as the night progresses about the collapse of Labour? And after... Sorry, go ahead.
No, feel free to continue. Sorry.
Yes, and after you were ousted as Labour leader, what impact did that have to the organisation and structure?
Well, first of all, lovely question. After my ousting from Labour, I think I really don't like to toot my own horn here, but I think there's just when you lead a party, you have a vision. I think that's been missing from this Labour leadership. Completely directionless, and I think in terms of structure, not much has changed. And when you go on to win 4 elections, that kind of has to change. Going into this election, if you can't release a manifesto, I'm not surprised they didn't change the structure. In terms of Tom's reaction, I've not really spoken to him about the results, but there's just certain things you don't need to speak about. We pretty know the opinion here. Labour has fallen from grace since our leadership. I'm sure he agrees with me that Labour, I believe I saw him on Twitter saying this, Labour has revolutionised this country. And it's a shame to see the current leadership not really lean into that. So it's saddening to see. And I'm sure I'll be speaking to him as the night progresses and we'll have, opinions on that. But I'm sure we'll come to a consensus that this is, I suppose this is the result of a carelessness that we've seen from Labour.
Right, thanks very much, Killian.
One final question I have, just one final one. With Labour now quite literally at its worst result, I think, in over a year. It's way over a year now.
Certainly, yeah.
Possibly its worst election result ever. who do you think can save the party now? Parties have these things where they immediately dip and someone comes along to save. It happens with me and Sinn Féin, or Secretic and Social Democrats. He did that when he first took
Certainly.
charge. Who do you think can save the ship?
Well, I know a lot of people will turn to Kamala, and she has passion, she has intelligence. My issue is she an election winner? I mean, if you lose against Dylan Hello 20, I'd be inclined to think no, But there is someone who I'm not sure if he's still in the party or if he's still in the cabinet. I really hope he is. There is someone who I've been vying to run for leader for a while. Haven't spoken to him in a while, but I really want him to run for leader and run for leader of Labour. US Marine Evan Divis Flats. What a great guy. I think if he gets the I understand he has exams. If he gets through those exams, if he gets the excitement to lead the party, then I think Labour could see a serious resurgence. He's intelligent. He's a very, very well versed legislator. So if he gets into politics, then I think leading Labour could save that.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us tonight, Killian.
No
we'll let
Thanks
you
for
get
having
your
me
beauty sleep.
Yeah.
And yes, do have a good night, Killian.
Thank you.
Right. Again, that was Killian Whitaker, former Taoiseach of Ireland and former leader of the Labour Party, as well as a former leader of Fine Gael at some point. Can't remember when. It was a while ago. But that does pretty much bring our broadcast to a close. Of course, there is a bit that we still have to say here. I personally would like to say thank you to all of our staff tonight for the amount of effort put in. We have, of course, done a bit of a refurbishment here at RTE. And in fact, to talk a bit more about refurbishment at RTE, I feel like I should pass over to the person spearheading it. So, to our former man in the studio and now our incumbent director of content, or at least he's now being appointed it now, because I said so. Blair, do you have anything to tell us?
Well, I mean, thanks for joining us. I mean, it was fun. We hope that, and this is not my doing, this is more Franny's doing, the excellent studio and set design, the graphic design, the lower thirds that you see on screen. Very well done to Franny this evening. And also, I hope that you enjoyed my analysis graphics as well. And also, Jamie on the camera work, he did an excellent job, so well done to him.
Lovely. Do you have anything else to tell us, Blair? Something about perhaps something coming in the future, maybe?
Oh, yes! Yes, I do have something to tell you about something coming in the future. At the end of June, we invite all members of Ireland to join us for the premiere of Primetime. It is our brand new Irish current events and topical news program. We'll discuss politics, we'll get interviews going. It'll be really fun at the end of June. And as we go forward, you might as well follow my Twitter at TonyBlair_RBX. We'll post some sneak peeks as we prepare.
Yeah, also use that Twitter if you want to go on rants about how Tony Blair is a war criminal and he should be put before the Hague.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that does bring our broadcast. Oh, yep.
Yeah, and I personally use it to complain about Alberta Premier Danielle Smith.
Lovely. But yes, that does bring our broadcast to an end. I would like to thank Epic Noah for helping co-host, or at least for the first 20 minutes. I'd also like to thank Blair for being our man on the map, man in the studio, and our man in general. I'd also like to thank Franny for helping film and broadcast this to the whole nation, Jamie for manning the cameras, and of course I'd like to thank the entire nation of Ireland for partaking in this election and executing your democratic duties. This has been RTE's coverage of the June 2023 general election. I have been your host, Dean O'Connor. I wish you all good night, and I bid you all farewell.